I don't even know what to say about this. What's happening with Keaton Mitchell and the Ravens is just unbelievable. A player who looked ready to break out this season after a preseason where he flashed all his talent isn't even touching the field. Seriously, he's healthy. He's ready to contribute, but Harbaugh keeps leaving him out. And the strangest part? There's room on the roster. Other running backs have even gone down with injuries, and still Mitchell is stuck on the sidelines, just watching it all happen. It's such a bizarre situation, it makes you wonder, is there something going on behind the scenes that no one's talking about? In today's video, we're breaking down every detail of this crazy story, figuring out why the explosive Keaton Mitchell isn't playing and what that really means for the Ravens this season. Back in 2023, Keaton Mitchell burst onto the NFL scene as a complete surprise. Nobody expected much from him. He went undrafted, had to fight just to make the Ravens roster as a rookie, and didn't carry much hype. But right from his first snaps, it was obvious there was something different about him. With his blazing speed, every single time he touched the ball, it felt like something big was about to happen. It wasn't just running. It was like he could turn every carry into a race across the entire field. Even as a rookie, Mitchell put up almost 400 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. But the real headline was his yards per carry, 8.3. That's insane. Numbers like that don't just look good. They tell you this guy could turn even the most routine handoff into an explosive play. Every touch felt like a highlight waiting to happen, the kind of moment that spreads all over social media and makes you think, this guy might actually be special, and it wasn't just about the stats. Mitchell had this exciting play style that combined raw speed with vision. He seemed to see openings in lanes that other running backs missed, like he had an extra gear in his football instincts. For the Ravens, it was like finding a hidden gem who could change a game in one single snap. For fans who love speed and unpredictability, Mitchell was a gift. The excitement kept building because he brought exactly what the Ravens needed: energy, explosiveness, and a threat to crack defenses wide open at any moment. He was a rookie who felt like he could carve out a legacy if he stayed healthy and got consistent opportunities. Every snap carried that sense that the Ravens' offense could become way more dangerous with him on the field. And that's what makes his story so fascinating. Because as good as it started, things didn't exactly follow the script. That explosive beginning ran straight into a serious obstacle that completely changed his path. After such an electric start, no one could have predicted that Mitchell's career would hit such a roadblock so soon. On December 17th, 2023, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he went down with a devastating knee injury. In one instant, all that energy and promise he had shown suddenly came to a stop. Injuries like that don't just end the season. They can completely reshape how a player runs, moves, and trusts his own body. That injury carried over into 2024. Mitchell missed the entire first half of the season while rehabbing, and when he finally made it back, it was obvious he wasn't himself yet. The burst wasn't there. The same confidence was missing. Every run almost looked like a test, measuring how much that knee would hold up, how much trust he could put into it. And for a running back whose entire game is built on speed and explosiveness, that's one of the toughest challenges you can face. There's also the mental side. Coming back from a serious injury means relearning how to trust your body, making those cuts without hesitation, accelerating without second-guessing, letting instincts take over again. Any player will tell you that part can be just as hard as the physical rehab. For Mitchell, the dream of being that explosive weapon for the Ravens was now on hold, and every practice and every rep became about proving he still had it. Even through all that, flashes of his talent were still there. The big question became, could he overcome those limits and return to being the guy everyone thought he was? This stretch of his career turned into a critical test, not just of his health, but of his future in Baltimore. And that's exactly why his 2025 season was so highly anticipated, carrying the weight of a potential comeback story. But as we're seeing, it hasn't gone the way many hoped. When the 2025 preseason kicked off, there was a wave of optimism around Mitchell. After all those months of rehab and training, it finally looked like he was back in form. In the preseason opener against the Colts, he showed glimpses of that old magic, bursting through holes, cutting on a dime, and flashing that playmaking instinct that had everyone buzzing back in 2023. For a moment, it really did feel like he was back to his peak. Unfortunately, the excitement didn't last long. Soon after, he tweaked his hamstring. Thankfully, this time it wasn't anything like the knee injury. It was relatively minor, nothing that should have derailed his spot in the rotation. The expectation was still that Mitchell would get his chance in 2025 and finally have that redemption season everyone had been waiting for. That hope wasn't just among fans. Coaches, teammates, analysts, everyone was watching to see how he'd be folded into the Ravens' offense. With his speed, he offered a unique weapon that could tilt the field in Baltimore's favor. It felt like he had everything needed to become a real difference maker again. But then things took a strange turn. Even with the talent, even with the recovery, decisions about who would play started going against him. Instead of a comeback story, Mitchell found himself stuck in a new kind of battle. This time not against injuries, but against coaching decisions. And that's where John Harbaugh's choices became the centerpiece of the entire conversation, raising questions nobody saw coming.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video, but before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
Despite being healthy and ready to go, Mitchell was a healthy scratch for the first 2 games of the 2025 season. For a guy who had just shown so much in preseason, that move turned a lot of heads. Harbaugh explained it as a roster numbers decision, highlighting Rasheen Ali's value on special teams. But the reasoning didn't exactly satisfy everyone. The weirdest part? Ali suffered a concussion in Week 2 against the Browns. Even then, Harbaugh didn't seem eager to slide Mitchell into the lineup. To fans and observers, it looked strange. You've got a healthy, talented running back who can clearly contribute, and yet he's stuck on the sidelines. The whole thing started to feel less like a strategy call and more like a mystery. This is one of those classic NFL dilemmas. You can have talent sitting right there, but roster balance and special teams roles end up deciding who's active on game day. And in this case, Mitchell's become the poster child for how a guy can have all the tools and still not get the shot, just because of numbers and roles. Meanwhile, Mitchell's story was shifting. He wasn't the explosive rookie anymore. He was now the guy left waiting, the talent sitting in limbo. That promise of triumphant return started to blur into frustration and doubt over whether he'd ever carve out a role again. And all this built into one lingering feeling. Maybe Mitchell wasn't just out of the lineup for numbers' sake. Maybe, just maybe, he had landed in Harbaugh's doghouse. Week after week, the picture has become clearer. Keaton Mitchell is stuck in John Harbaugh's doghouse. Everyone knows the talent is there. Everyone knows he can change games with a single play. But the opportunities just aren't coming, with other running backs consistently getting the nod ahead of him. This isn't about injuries anymore. It's about a coach deciding he doesn't have a game day spot, no matter how ready Mitchell is. For Mitchell, it's brutal. He's healthy, he's proven what he can do, and yet he's forced to watch from the sidelines. For the Ravens, it's a curious choice. They've got depth, sure, but they're also shelving one of their most explosive weapons. It's rare to see this much talent go unused, and it makes you wonder how long it can last. That tension only fuels more questions. Is there something behind the scenes we don't know? Is Harbaugh sending a message, or just sticking stubbornly to roster balance? Nobody really has a full answer, and that's why this situation keeps sparking debates. At the end of the day, Mitchell's story in Baltimore has turned into a strange, unfinished chapter. The flashes from 2023 prove he's got the ability, but in 2025, obstacles keep stacking up, some from injuries, others from decisions outside his control. And the big question hanging over everything is simple. When or if Keaton Mitchell will finally get the chance to unleash that game-breaking speed again. At the end of the day, Keaton Mitchell's situation with the Ravens is one big mystery. A guy with speed, explosiveness, and proven playmaking ability, someone who can change a game in a heartbeat, is being left on the sideline with no clear explanation. Harbaugh's decisions raise real questions about the future of Baltimore's backfield and about when, or even if, Mitchell will get another real chance. So what do you think? Is this just a case of roster management gone wrong, or is there something deeper happening behind the scenes? One thing for sure, This storyline isn't going away anytime soon, and it could end up shaping the Ravens season in a big way. Every week the suspense builds, and all eyes are still locked on whether Mitchell gets the opportunity to remind everyone just how explosive he really is.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself.